welcome back. And we are moving into our second conversation for today. And this one is geared for our teachers. We have with us this morning veteran educator Annie Palacio. Good morning.
Good morning, Marlene. Good morning, Belize. Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
So here's one of the things, and we know about you, is that you work very much on helping to build people up within different capacities. You know, you've worked with children, you've worked with married couples, you've worked with at-risk youths, and now you're looking at being able to offer some advice to people who are teachers. You are an educator yourself.
Yes.
So what made you now decide that this was a good area to get into?
Well, one of the many reasons I found out that teachers are very overwhelmed, they're under stressed, and they don't really have like an outlet to go to. I notice now that there are some schools that have counselors, but sometimes even the counselors we don't really want to go to, so we try to find someone who we feel compatible with.
Yeah.
And I find out that a lot of teachers feel safe with me, and I think that is one of the outlets that we need. We need to find someone who we can feel that we can talk to him or her without saying, okay, well, I wonder if I'm going to hear that tomorrow. Because, you know, Belize is very small. Confidentiality is one of our major problems that one of our major problems we have. But we do need it because there are three basic things we need to cover when you're an educator. The physical part, the mental part, and the most important is the spiritual part. I don't think we're working on that because many of our teachers find themselves getting very sick very early on in the field, or when they do retire, it's like they retire and like a couple of years after they get these major diseases. So we find ourselves taking care of everyone else around us. We take care of parents, we take care of children, we take care of our home, but then we don't take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So I feel that this is one of the reasons why we need to have this outlet for teachers.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that educators face. You know, we always, especially when there is a particular union issue, we hear a lot of comments about educators.
Yes.
And we all have had experiences with teachers throughout our own lives. And I've always said, you know, it is the teachers who really help to shape us into who we are, whether guiding you or pushing you in a particular direction. We all have had influential teachers. But yet when we become parents, people are very critical
About teachers.
Yeah. So let's there are health issues, there are emotional issues. You're right. You get to school early, you leave late, and your life does not exist.
True.
So talk about some of the common stresses and challenges that teachers face.
Well, many of the challenges is that they don't understand. Many people don't understand the work that you put in.
Yeah.
Literally, your job is 24/7. It's like you're on a call.
That's true.
That's one of the reasons why teachers teach all professions, because you become all those professions automatically. It's not that you're a counselor, you're trained to do that, or you're a nurse, you're trained to do that. It comes naturally, because then when you go to school in September and August, whenever school reopens, you have these beautiful people in your class, and they naturally become your children, because when they cry, you cry. When they smile, you smile. So you take on a lot more than you bargained for.
Yeah.
So many of the challenges is that you put aside yourself, your being, your emotions, to deal with these children's emotions.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started out, it was more of dealing with the children and helping them to reach a certain level and to push their potential. But now you're dealing with parents who you have to assist in raising some of these children, because it's amazing how the children would come to a teacher and talk to a teacher and would not talk to a mother or father.
Yeah.
Or it's amazing when you hear stories like they would call you early in the morning and said, "Teacher Annie, he doesn't want to wear this jeans pants. Can you talk to him for me?" And I'm like, wow. So it's like an overwhelming feature that you go through, because you know that this is your vocation, because it's not really a job. Not anybody can be a teacher, you know.
I agree.
It is a vocation. It is something where you have to have a passion for. You have to love it. You have to love the students, and you have to understand where they come from. Even to the point where you face with the curriculum, because what I'm facing now and what many teachers are realizing now is that you're more becoming of a corporate manager than a teacher, because your contact hours are less with your students, because you have so many workshops that you need to do during school time. You have so many things that the ministry might want to put in the curriculum, and then you have to change around how you're going to teach. But no one thinks about the children in the classroom, what they need. And that is one of our major problems that we face. You have to circumvent your curriculum to help the students. Yes, you want them to be academically sound, but you also want them to be a holistic child. And that is the problem that we're facing, and many teachers are facing that, because then many administrators may not understand that. They will tell you, go along with the curriculum. That's what the ministry says. But that is not making your child holistic. And when we hear about the PSC results and all of those things, then you make you wonder, should we go back to the basics? And that is one of our major problems that we're fighting with.
Now, we also have had conversations with the union, for example, that there are health concerns that are associated with teachers. They obviously, from the standing, tend to have back problems, problems with the feet. But one of the other ones, which is very antiquated, which people don't realize, is the chalk that is used.
Yes, and I'm a perfect example of that. I had to have a throat operation because of that, because of the chalk itself. Now they're having the dust, and now they're having the whiteboards, which is very good, and you can bring in your the computer technology now in the classroom, which is wonderful. But these are some of the things that I think that they should put in, like an insurance part for the teachers to take care of them, because really our teachers are one of the, not to be biased, but that's a profession that really needs to be loved. And it's very disheartening when you hear comments like, oh, they get holidays, so why are they dealing with that? Oh, they get their raise every year, so why are they marching?
They clock off at 3:30.
What clock is that? I would want to see it. But they don't understand that our lives is a 24/7 one. And then we also have to deal not only with school, but we also have family. And then we also have teachers that go through emotional distress, not only health risks when it comes to the teaching profession itself, but emotional distress from maybe breakup of a family, maybe a tragic death in the family. All these things we have to deal with because we know that when we step into that classroom, we have students who are dealing with much more than we are. So we put aside our emotions to help those students. So hence the reason why I think that we should be putting our teachers on a very high pedestal instead of trying to bring them down.
Now, I want to ask you personally, as an educator, how you feel when there is all this blame placed on teachers in terms of academic performance of the children, perhaps even how the school system is run. There's a lot of issues that people tend to place on teachers. How do you feel as an educator? How much of it is the responsibility of the educator versus just playing the blame game?
They should come in the classroom and try what we do. Then I could talk. Then we can talk after that. But before that, you dismiss the type of negative thoughts and comments that people have, because we do what we do on a daily basis, and we continuously do that without having or thinking about what other people are thinking. And it used to be, I remember growing up, I don't know, I'm sure you were the same, that it used to be a triangular form of education where you had the parents, the community, and you had the school.
It still should be.
It should be, but unfortunately it's mostly the school. The community has not really put in the work that they should be doing. They have less dealing with the students and the school and more with making profits. And then you have the parents who are getting younger and younger and having these children, and they themselves don't know how it is to raise these children. You would have to talk to a parent and say, listen, the child needs a book and a pen or a pencil. He or she does not need a $200 tennis shoe with a $300 outfit and diamond earring in the ears. So all of these things are causing a bit of a little problem when it comes to getting the school system revamped in a way where
Yeah.
we need to go back to the basics also, because then the classroom has so many things like 8, 9 subjects for a 5-year-old to deal with. A 5-year-old will need to know how to read, write, and arithmetic. That is all a 5-year-old need to do. Everything else comes into focus. Unfortunately, we're being pushed because I guess money-wise, we're getting monies from organizations from outside, and we need to show certain things.
Yeah.
But I believe that if we continuously talk to the parents,
Yeah.
continuously let the community know, without them, we will not exist. And I think crime rates will go down. I think our houses will become homes, and our people will feel renewed, and our children will do much better because they're more calm. Our teachers will be more productive because they feel less stress.
Yeah.
If we work together.
Now, there are stories that come out at times of teachers who perhaps have done things that are not within what is expected of a teacher, and
Correct.
you know, they give the profession a bad rap.
Yes,
You
it
said
does.
very early on, and I hear this all the time. You know, full disclosure, I come from a family of educators. My mom, my sister, and my other sisters in the school system. But you know, I always hear teachers say, you have to love it. If you don't love it, get out.
Get out.
I did teaching 1 year, and I said, I love working with kids, but this is not for me. So I think that people really have to recognize that it is something that you are driven and motivated and passionate about.
Exactly.
But there are some who just do it for the
paycheck.
job, for the
I agree.
paycheck.
Totally agree.
What do you think needs to be, we've talked about licensing for our teachers, we've talked about other issues as well. What do you think needs to be done to kind of weed out these teachers who don't understand that they have a responsibility of shaping the minds of our younger generation?
Exactly. I think we need to be more strict with that. I like the licensing part of it, because then it helps you to understand that you need to be licensed for you to be in the classroom, for one. And then two, we also need to get our administrators to understand that they need to administrate.
Yeah.
You need to be in the classroom. You need to know who your weak teachers are and get them up to par. If they're not up to par, you have to let them know, listen, straight up, this is not, I don't think this is your career. I did that one time with a young lady. I said, I love you very much. I think you're a wonderful gal, but this is not for you. And she realized that. She went on to be a beauty queen. She went on to be in the States. She's happily married now.
Yeah.
And she's always reminded me of thanking you for letting me know.
Yeah.
And I was not an administrator, but I was a teacher colleague at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to be honest. And we also need to revamp the system where we do appraisals. Those appraisals are very difficult for you to fail. So someone who's in the system for the job and for the paycheck will always be there, because he or she will never fail. So we need to revamp what our appraisal systems are. We need to document our teachers more when it comes to being late, when it comes to being in classroom, when it comes to getting your work done, when it comes to getting tests up to date, when it comes to getting your record keeping up to date. Let them understand that this is a position that you have gotten. It's a privilege. You're being paid for what you're doing, and for them to know that just like when you came in that door, you can be asked to be walking out too. And I think our problem is that many teachers get in the profession and they feel as if, well, I'm here to stay and you can't do anything to me. We need to change that attitude too, because then we're hurting our children.
Yeah.
So we need to look at the system itself. We need to look at the appraisals forms. Administrators need to look at themselves. Management need to look at their schools. It has to be a holistic approach.
Yeah.
For these teachers to know, you're in my school. You are not doing us a favor. You are here to ensure that our students become great citizens of this country. And if you feel it's not something you can do, then I have no problem in letting you go. I think we need to be very versed in that.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you'll be doing in terms of self-care for educators.
Yes. Well, what I do a lot is that a lot of people come to me and they find out they're under a lot of emotional stress. And we try our best to let them understand, listen, you need to take time out for yourself. I noticed that yoga is becoming a very popular thing now in Belize. This is very good. I think yoga is another way of you can enhance yourself. I missed the one from Miss Williams, but I'm sure there'll be others that I think we need to to refocus ourselves, especially during this time that we're out of school now. And because in a few weeks we go back, August 1st, we're on call again.
So they don't get the 2 months holiday that everybody
exactly. That's why I'm glad you said that, because we don't. As a matter of fact, we don't get holidays because your mind keeps thinking, what can I do differently this year that I didn't do this year?
Or you're making your charts and decorating your classroom, or cleaning your classroom.
Cleaning the classroom, painting it over. And that's one of the things that people don't understand, that we put a lot into the classrooms, especially elementary school teachers. They do a lot in those classrooms that people don't see. They just see the end results. What a beautiful classroom, what a beautiful work you're doing, teacher, but it puts in a lot, and then you yourself have to put in that money. That's why I was talking to one of my teachers this morning, really, and she said, I've looked at it. I don't have a paycheck until maybe September because July and August is really to get together to find out how much I will spend to get my classroom up. And so these are the things that we need to, as educators, we need to celebrate each other, not only in Teachers Week or Teachers Month or allowing the ministry to celebrate us. We need to celebrate ourselves. We need to take time out right now to be rejuvenated again. So when we get back in August, we're ready to go, whether that means exercising, walking, going to a gym, whether that means mentally talking with friends, being around people that makes it positive for you, or whether it means being spiritual. I noticed that Divine Mercy is always open. You can go there in the chapel. I believe lots of other churches have that also, that you can go to, or right in your little room, in your little space, take yourself up. The Bible, if you believe in the Bible yourself, because everybody has their own little background, but take a little time out for you and for your spiritual self also. I think we're not nourishing that. We need to look at how we will face another day, because when the man upstairs says, it's time for you to go, there's nothing we can do. So that's why every day he gives you that opportunity. So you take advantage of that by being positive and be around people who are positive. And when you find yourself doing that, you're going to see how much the stress goes away, how much the work gets more productive, and how much happier you are.
Okay. So are you going to be perhaps organizing something for educators as well?
Well, I'm working on that. I'm working to see if that could occur. But right now what I'm dealing with is during the month of July, I am having reading, writing, arithmetic classes at UWI for students who don't feel as if they're on par. Because if you notice a lot in PSC and the results in even up to CXC level, a lot of students are grappling with the part of reading and writing and understanding. And one of the reasons why our teachers are also faced with a lot of problems is because in the infant 1 preschool level, especially in the infant 1 level, you are given so many subjects for that 5-year-old to do. As I said, the basic background is important. And so I'll be dealing with that all month of July at UWI. And it goes for different students from 4 to 9-year-olds. It's from 8 to 11:30. 10 to 14-year-olds, it's from 1 to 3:30. Correct.
All right, and the number to call is
600-4320.
All right, and they can also email you.
Email me at acuvas@yahoo.com.
All right, and it starts on
July 3rd and ends on July 28th.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping in. I think this is a conversation we haven't had before, and it is important for people to recognize the type of compassion that they need to have for themselves.
Yes, I totally agree. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Annie. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the premiere of KTV The Remix, so stay tuned.